Hey everyone, it's Evangeline here at eTrailer, and today we have the Hollywood Racks Destination 4. We're taking a look at it focused on our 2024 Hyundai Tucson. If you're planning on carrying around your friends and family's bikes, you all want to go for a bike ride, well, something like this might be very helpful for you. This is actually one of my favorite bike racks to recommend just because it is a platform rack offering platform rack stability but still at a really good and affordable price. Now we do have some limitations like weight capacity. This is not designed for heavy electric bikes or fat bikes, but most of your mountain and road bikes are gonna be perfectly fine. Even your children's bikes are a good fit on this rack. Now, if you do need to access your hatch or your cargo space though, this rack does not tilt away. You would have to take the bikes off or access your cargo in from the interior. So that is another downside to this rack. But as for how it holds onto the bikes, it actually does that very well. There are three main touch points. The first two are going to be our front and our rear wheel straps. And then the third is going to be our frame mount. I really like this frame mount design compared to hooks that hold onto your frame. This one is a lot more adjustable and versatile. You can move this side to side, up and down, and even around for those different types of frames. But when you want to take your bikes off, you actually start at the wheel straps. So you press a lever and then you lift up on the strap. So I'm going to do this for the front as well as that rear wheel. When you have multiple bikes on here, it might seem like it could be a hassle at first, but taking them off one at a time is pretty achievable once you've figured out what to do. For example, for this bike, I'm gonna hook it with my arm as I remove that other strap. That way the bike doesn't fall towards the vehicle. I have everything controlled as I grab my bike, and let's see. We're gonna lift it over this mast this way. There we go. And now we are ready to go for a ride. With the ability to carry on 4 bikes, this is still a compact platform rack, and that's because of how the cradles are designed. If you'll notice, instead of sticking straight out, they bend downwards, creating a wing-like form. And that's going to be helpful for those different wheelbases. They can sit wherever they need to on the bike rack or whichever way gives you the best clearance. Speaking of clearance, what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to lower this mast. So if you really had to get access into your cargo space, you can still do that even with the bike rack on. What we first need to do is lower the center mast, secure the center mast by a wheel strap or a frame strap, and then you are able to open up the hatch. So definitely a bit more process compared to more premium racks that just tilt away, but this is still an option for you if you want to utilize that hatch area. This rack does not tilt away, but it does fold up. So before we get into that, let's go through the different measurements. First is the length this adds to the back of your car. So from the bumper to the end of the rack by the reflectors, that's 38.25 inches, much shorter compared to most 4-bike platform racks, giving you a better bet for those small garages and small parking spots. Next is ground clearance. So from the ground to the end of the wings, that's 19.5 inches, and then to the center of the rack to the ground, that's 2 feet or 24 inches. So there is that shank rise, so you're not as likely to bottom out when you go up steep inclines like driveways or hills. But finally, what about that portable position? If you loosen this bolt, just let that drop, and then if you lift up on the rack, and then you fold everything up against your vehicle until that hole lines right back up, so that you can insert the bolt again, and please don't forget to tighten that down. By the way, there is a clip at the end for safety purposes. Once that bolt is tightened down, you are now in the compact or the portable position. Let's take some measurements real quick while we have it in this position. The first thing is, while it looks like it might come really close to the car, there's actually plenty of clearance there as long as you fully tighten down those straps. I can fit my hand through. We have about 2 inches of clearance between the bike rack and the vehicle. The length this now adds is going to be from the bumper and the rack 11 inches. So also a big difference compared to when this was folded down. You'll be perfectly fine having it folded up like this when you're just driving around town. Obviously, you're not carrying any bikes, but you also don't want to take the bike rack off. But what is it like with this bike rack behind you? Well, even with the ability to carry on 4 bikes, it still sits up short enough where you have full visibility through your rear window. Yes, your license plate will be technically covered, but your backup camera sits right there in that opening. Because of that open gap, you are going to be able to see through your backup camera. Plus, you do have that 360-degree view on your Hyundai Tucson, so there is a lot of visibility still around you. You are going to need a 2-inch hitch receiver in order to use this bike rack. If you don't have one, you can use our website here at etrailer to find one that is custom fit for your Tucson. We installed one here at etrailer. You can follow that video, or you can use our dealer network to find someone to help you install yours. But that's going to be needed in order to utilize this bike rack, and this bike rack will help you carry around multiple bikes without taking up a lot of space or weighing a lot. This is something that even I can very easily install, lift, and carry around. But you do have those limitations, like I did mention, of weight capacity, as well as not being able to tilt the rack away. So if you really want something that has those options, I would recommend looking at something like the Kuat Transfer instead. That one does have a tilt feature, but it does weigh as well as sit a lot further out on your vehicle compared to the compactness of the Destination 4. So this right here was a look at the Hollywood Rack's Destination 4, and you saw how it fits our 2024 Hyundai Tucson.
Now we're going to go ahead and take it on our test course. First, we'll start with the slaloms. This is going to show the side-to-side action. It's kind of going to mimic the movements that you'll see whenever you're driving down the road normally. Now we'll have the alternating speed bumps. This is going to be more so like the uneven roads and some of that uneven terrain you might be traveling on, and see how it holds up.